Hey, everybody. I'm Tyler Suiters with the Consumer Technology Association. We are the owners and producers of CES, the most influential tech event in the world. And we are here to help you get CES ready. The big show is January 11th through the 14th, 2021. And this year, it is an all-digital show. We're reimagining CES, supporting what makes CES unique, yes, but also enabling you to connect with new global audiences. At CES 2021, you're going to hear from the world's leading tech innovators, all from the comfort of your own home and office, a much safer setting, of course, in this pandemic era. Exhibitors will launch their latest projects, and you can connect with global brands, the hottest startups, and one another. And it will be all digital, a personalized experiential event, engaging content, captivating imagery, dynamic presentations, a new experience for you, and a front row seat to discover and see the latest tech. The categories, well, they're familiar to you by now. Digital health, smart cities and resilience, applications of AI, 5G, drones, and vehicle technology. And that last category is what we're focusing on today. It's a conversation with Mercedes-Benz and the Daimler Group, blazing the trail in vehicle tech. Now, CTA research shows that we are actually using our cars or more excited about them in this COVID era. 42% of us say that constant access to a private vehicle is more important to us now than it was before the pandemic started. And among those of us who had driven before the pandemic, a third of us are likely to travel that same way more often post-pandemic using our own cars. So today's conversation is with the Chief Design Officer of Mercedes-Benz and the Daimler Group, how design and technology intersect and how they create something that's really more than a car. It's a digital companion. That's all coming up today on this edition of CES Tech Talk. Joining us today from Germany is Gordon Wagner. He is Chief Design Officer of Mercedes-Benz and Daimler Group. And Gordon, guten Tag. I believe that's a proper greeting. I'm not sure what time it is there, but great to have you with us nonetheless.
Nice accent though, Tyler. How are you?
Highly practiced. Yeah. Thank you. So you're in Germany right now. How are you? How are you coping with the situation, and especially as a global traveler, how are you juggling all these restrictions?
Oh, pretty good. You know, I spent quite some time in the US, and then I transferred here over back to Europe, to Germany, back in the headquarters. We do what everybody's doing. We use video conferences. We do sessions in small circles with the designers. I mean, working with the cars, you have to be in the studio, but of course we take all precautions like distance, mask, whatsoever. Try to stay safe. But, you know, with our global design network, we have these design studios around the globe, from California to Portland, to China, Beijing, to South America, to India, around the globe. We're used to deal with long distance commuting, not only commuting, I commuted, but communications, and design communications, video conferences stuff. So that wasn't really new to us, and we just learned to use it a little better now.
We all have to adapt, right?
Yeah, and in fact, it saves so much time. I mean, think about the morning commute, right? You can sleep an hour later, have your coffee, and jump right in the first meeting, right?
Yeah.
It's a digital world.
Yeah, we're all here in Washington D.C. and skipping any kind of commute that avoids crossing the Potomac River is a blessing for all of us. So the tech is helping us all connect better and stay productive during this interim. I'd like to start by jumping back a little earlier, though, than the start of the pandemic, and that is CES 2020. What a splash that you all made with the Vision AVTR. I mean, it's designed with a very futuristic look, a throwback a bit, though, to Tron in the 1980s and that futuristic look. What was your vision for the Vision, so to speak, and your reaction to its debut?
Yeah, that was really as good as it gets, and CES was a perfect stage to launch that kind in that huge in front of that huge audience. And remember, we did that last big launch was the F015, that autonomous driving car, in 2015. And ever since, we haven't done such a big thing again. And now with Avatar, it got so much bigger even. And first of all, working with the Lightstorm guys, especially with John Landau and his design team, was very inspirational. We as basic car and in-action designers, working with movie designers, science fiction designers, I mean, that's a dream come true. Therefore, of course, we wanted to create something that is very, very different to anything else you have seen before. Very tagged with a lot of new interfaces. When you see the gesture, the projection. Actually, the idea was that this car is not a car; it's a living organism, and you put your hand over that connection device. You can also drive it with that, but you connect with the vehicle, and like an avatar, you become one. And so there's so much content, so many creative ideas in that project. So that was phenomenal. Even when you look at the wheels, which are not really wheels, they're kind of these balls where you can, drive sideways, and they'll probably drive on Pandora.
So the other side of that sword, if you will, Gordon, to having so much attention on a product launch or a concept drop, is that you need to top it the next year, or at least you have to raise the bar a little higher. So with that in mind, what do you have planned for CES 2021? An all-digital experience, so a different milieu. What are you looking for in the show to come?
Well, AVTR was a big show, was a big movie. This year, we want to deliver something more concrete. We will present the first glass IP. So instrument panel. So typically, of course, a dashboard is leather and plastic and material. And this time we dematerialized it. So it's not material anymore. It's just projection. It's a free-form, three-dimensional OLED screen that will revolutionize the interior of cars, because it's not physical anymore. It's digital. And it all started with and that's a cool thing. It all started with a design sketch. We in the ideation phase, we do this concept work, and actually that came from one of our satellite studios in Como in Italy, interior studio, when we launched this project like 5 years ago or so. And there was that sketch I liked so much. It showed a glass IP, complete display, and we said, hey, we need to do that. And we found a partner to make it happen and actually turn it into a three-dimensional. And this is the special part about it. It's not flat. It's curved, and it's three-dimensionally curved. And everybody who's in displays knows how difficult that is to achieve. But that's a cool thing with OLED, that you can do that. And not only two-dimensional, three-dimensional. And that's a revolutionary part about it. So, I think we call it the hyperscreen. But again, it's a virtual instrument panel. And that's so much more futuristic than anything else you have ever seen in a car before.
So you're talking about an interface that was, as you just said, Gordon, originally sketched, or the fruition of the idea started with your team in Italy. But it sounds a lot, as I dive in a little bit into what the hyperscreen is, to really the concept of Bauhaus. Is that fair to say? Is that a correct comparison?
Not quite, actually. I mean, of course, we have a long German design tradition, which started with the Bauhaus design and culture, which was based pretty much about simplicity. And it went on over the school of Ulm. It actually influenced Apple design. And we as designers, and especially we at Mercedes, we love simplicity. It's my old saying, if you like it, take a line off. If you still like it, take another line off. And that applies to everything we do, whether it's a screen or whether it's an interface, a user interaction interface, MBUX. And it's so much harder to take stuff out than to add stuff. So simplicity, goes back to Bauhaus, but we want to make simplicity sexy. We want to have emotion about it and beauty. And this is the other part of our philosophy. Our philosophy is essential purity. That means we have something that is, sensual, beautiful, sexy on one hand, red hot. And then we have the cool part that is clean, reduced, simple. And so with these opposites, they're almost like heart and brain. And this is how we are made as humans. And this is why I truly believe in this philosophy. And we keep evolving it as almost like an operating system, like in 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 3.5, with larger and smaller steps. But we are not changing the thinking. We are not changing our belief. This is almost our religion, and this is what we truly believe in. And again, we applied it to MBUX, which made it a very significant, easy to use, beautiful interaction system in automotive, which the latest version we presented that summer, but was it like 2 or 3 years ago probably 3 years, I don't remember, when we presented that. We launched it at the CS, Sajid and myself, in the press conference. And coming back to the screen, it is about simplicity. Of course, it's just a glass surface, but again, it's sensual, it's 3-dimensional, curved, and therefore we combine these two things, these two poles of our philosophy, also in this piece of design.
Mm-hmm. Gordon, if you would talk about how your design vision comes to life. In a way, when you talk about the car and, well, what we would currently call the driver, but we may have another term for that moving forward, come together as one and interact. Where are we now, and where do we go from here? And this is all according to your vision, right? What do you see?
Yeah, it's pretty much that vision we showed with the AVTR, what we were talking about earlier, that the user and the machine become one, and that hyperscreen is one step into that direction. That again, the whole IP is an interface that connects the driver with the machine, and of course, artificial intelligence will help a lot on that way to predict more, to understand the person better that is driving or operating that car. Of course, with autonomous driving, it will still take a little bit until that will be fully there, but eventually it will be. That opens a complete new dimension, because then the car really becomes the third place, not at work, not at home. Your home is on the street then, and when it drives autonomous, you can fully take advantage of all interaction features, because you're not distracted with the driving anymore. And as the car gets smarter and smarter and smarter, also that interaction will be better and better and better, because it's all about simplicity again. It will be easier, it will be more intuitive. It will be, of course, voice will probably increase a little bit, but even though voice will be more dominant, people want to have a visual interface. People want to look at something to confirm for them, especially when you're driving. When you go somewhere, you want to see a map. If the car tells you you will be there in 10 minutes and you're currently on that bridge, you maybe look out of the window and see the bridge, but you want to have a visual reference.
Right.
And that will not change. So I don't think we will see smaller screens in the future. No, not at all. I'm a true believer. This is the first of a completely new kind of interiors, and we're actually the first on that planet that actually do that. And it will change car interiors forever.
Is this the idea of a computer on wheels, Gordon? I mean, that's a bit of an inelegant phrase.
It's
I think in your very
the idea of a supercomputer on wheels. Yeah, that's what cars of the future are about. They're supercomputers on wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you think that our experience, and I say our in the professional world, the working world, when we've been forced to adapt so much more quickly to the technologies we may not have been as familiar with, whether it's video conferencing or higher levels of connectivity, whatever it might be, we've been forced to adapt to that constant screen in our lives now. Do you see that driving this forward, and that we're more accepting as a consumer base or as a customer base of having that computer with us all the time, that we're beyond wanting it, I think is where I'm going, Gordon. It's that we need that at all times.
I don't think it's about adapting. It's about technology should adapt to the human that way around, but not the human to the technology, because then it's good tech when it adapts to the human and helps him to, do things easier, makes life better, more healthy, whatsoever, more safe, more convenient. Convenience is a matter of luxury, definitely. So we try to make tech adapt to the user and not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you started your career in the auto industry, I think you can use different terminologies, but you were a car designer, so to speak.
I'm still a car designer.
but let's be honest, Gordon, you are far more in the tech sector than you were 20, 10, maybe even 7 years ago, right? I mean, you're a tech-centric designer now.
Yeah, car design and my job is like the renaissance in design, because it combines all different design disciplines you can imagine. When I started as a car designer, I loved the art aspect, and I loved that the car itself, of its three-dimensional shape, is the most advanced object to design. And I love the artwork aspect, of big renderings, shiny, glossy renderings and stuff. Now my job is 360-degree design responsibility, which of course still involves exterior designs and working with the clay and working with the sculpture. And I love that. Yeah. And interior design is like interior design of a house. Yeah. We actually design houses. We do architecture, exterior architecture, interior design architecture. We do for clients, for our own showrooms, for exhibition booths, for the CES, whatsoever. And then we do fashion design. We do corporations like the one I did with Virgil Abloh this year, doing the G-Wagon. Which actually was an art project. So we also do art. Yeah, we have that art label. And then, of course, we have that big, what you mentioned, that big growing field of, let's say, tech design, user interaction design, software design. Yeah. And again, I explained that earlier. We still wanted to use our automotive background in approaching software. That's why MBUX, for instance, is different looking to operating systems on smartphones, on TVs, whatsoever. You still see the beauty aspect in it. You see these fantastic visuals. We wanted to be different. We wanted to be more rich, and definitely we as a company wanted to be more luxury. That's a very, very important part for our mother brand, Mercedes, but also, of course, for our luxury sub-brands like AMG, Maybach, the new EQ brand for even more for tech. And we even do the advertising side of things, So it's really 360 degree, and that's what makes it interesting. And I have to mention, a screen is dark without software. So therefore, we are not only presenting that hyperscreen, we also present a completely new level of interface on that screen that comes with that screen. The next level of MBUX, and we have internally, we call it the zero layer. So that's an invention from the design department, saying when you're driving, why do you want to switch layers? Why don't you have everything on one layer and things pop up with AI? Things pop up in certain use cases like phone. You always have the map as the main canvas, because again, that's what you typically use for driving. And when you see the top use cases in a car, is always navigation, phone, media. That's pretty much it. Everything else is secondary. And so we give more emphasis on these main use cases. So let's say we clean up the entrance hall, and the basement is probably the same, but you hardly go in the basement. Maybe to get some wine or so from the cellar. So we didn't want to hang the Mona Lisa in the cellar, right? We wanted to hang it in the main hall, and that's what we did. And I think, again, we were talking about simplicity earlier. I think that's a major step towards simplicity in an operating system. And again, something nobody else has done before. I'm truly convinced you'll love it. Yeah.
Gordon Wagner is Chief Design Officer with Mercedes-Benz and the Daimler Group. And Gordon, yours is a global brand that is known for projecting an ambitious vision of the industry's future at CES every year. Can't wait to see you at CES 2021, and thanks for all your insight and time today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to get together with all you guys again. Yeah, can't wait.
All right, that is a wrap for this edition of CES Tech Talk. As you know, CES transcends the traditional tech industry. Companies use CES as a platform to show how they're embracing technology and also evolving their businesses. Companies large and small find a valuable platform at CES. And in 2021, this show is a critical event for companies to launch and showcase new products and innovations. They can make major announcements during Media Day, demo products via live events, video content, digital activations, and you can engage directly with your target audiences through live chat and meetings. Now, we want you to be CES ready for all of this, and a good step is what you're doing right now, listening to the CES Tech Talk podcast. But do yourself a favor, subscribe to the podcast as well, and that way you won't miss a single episode as we head for the big show. Speaking of, CES 2021 is January 11th through the 14th. The latest information is at ces.tech, that is ces.tech, and be sure to check in there regularly because new announcements seem to be coming out all the time. Now, none of this is remotely possible without the true stars of our podcast. Our executive producer, Jennifer Drogas, our assistant producer, Kristen Nemiroff, and our senior studio engineer, John Lindsay. You all are the best in the business. I'm Tyler Suiters. Let's talk tech again soon.